Hello, hello, what's up, and welcome back to another 14 Keys of Thinking Like a Pro. I'm your host, Chris Keys, and I'm very excited once again to be with my good friend, D1, all the way from Florida, which he's now in Texas, but say hello to all the people real quick, D1.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
So today, if you haven't heard of this guy, I know you probably seen him, you probably heard of his work.
Not at
He's a
all.
professional musician. He's a professional music producer, music director. He does it all. Just to go down a quick list of some of his accomplishments. He's played for the Ohio Players. He's worked with John B. Flo Rida. He's worked with Gary Clark Jr. Just the list. I might be missing a few people. I don't know, but the list goes on, and we're going to dive into some of those things or all of those things in this whole episode. But first, let's just start from the beginning of this thing. Like you've been a professional here, but where did this all start from in your early days?
Born and raised in DeLand, Florida,
Florida.
Central Florida area.
Okay.
After high school, I played my whole life. My dad is a pastor, so I grew up in church playing.
You started
Really
on keys.
Nah, I started on drums,
Oh, okay.
but the drums was oversaturated. And
Right.
I
Everybody
liked a
wants to
little
make
bit of
noise.
attention. So I quickly switched to keys around 16 or 17 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you grew up in the church, could you really hold a beat on the drums, or did you
Oh no,
just
I was nice on drums.
you was
I was nice on drums. Yeah. Yeah, I played drums for the National Youth Choir, the State Youth Choir,
okay?
So I was
So what
I
made
was
you
real
get in? What
nice.
made you get into? I mean, your dad was a pastor. Did he kind of encourage you? Was he a musician as well?
Nah,
Or
man, my dad played some drums or whatever, but it was my older god brother who he played drums,
nice.
and when we was in elementary school, he was like a prodigy. He was like the school would buy him drum sets.
Whoa.
He would play like with the drum set, and the music teacher was a world-renowned bass player, and they would play together. And he was still in elementary school, but he was a phenomenon. So that being younger than him, growing up idolizing that's what made me say, "Oh, I got to be better than him."
Yeah.
So
This was your
that,
brother.
my god brother,
You got
older god brother.
so
So
you
that's
come with a musical background,
yeah,
family kind of.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
So you switched to keys.
yeah, I switched to keyboard.
Because you wanted the attention. I mean, I'm hearing that. A lot of
Yeah,
guys say they switch.
yeah, I
Well, let's
switched.
the girls they want the keys player or the guitar player or something.
Yeah,
So
but like when you grow up around at a church that has a lot of drummers, it's like you might wait all night. So, if my god brother's there, you're not getting on.
right,
So you
right,
ain't got no shine. So
right.
if you switch to an instrument, you possibly have a chance. And when I switched over, by the time I was in middle school, I was already playing saxophone and read music. So I had an understanding. So learning keyboard was not a problem.
Sure.
It was not a
So you
problem at
had, I
all.
mean, through the years, by the time you was either finishing high school or right around that
Like it was
time, you
right
had
my
a
junior
really good
year, senior year.
musical
Yeah.
understanding of
Oh
several
yeah.
instruments.
Oh
Then,
yeah. Oh yeah.
okay, and that came from being in the band
Yeah, being in
and
band
church.
and church, band and church.
Do you see a difference from the band musician and the church musician?
Oh yeah, a big
Uh,
difference. And
what's the
I
difference?
had the best of both worlds,
Right.
because I could talk to my fellow musicians that were my age at church. I could talk to them about structure. I could talk about this is the chorus, this is the bridge, this is the one, this
Right.
is the two, this is the three. So I could educate them on a novice level language of music, but then I could educate my band bros that was doing orchestra and everything on, hey, this is how you go with a flow.
Right.
This is how you feel the music. This is
Yeah.
how you flow. This is a substitution. This is you know what I'm saying?
Okay. So just that feel is
Yeah,
something
because
you
they
kind of
didn't.
get from the church
Yeah,
that you
well,
might
and
not
in
get
high
from.
school, like it really was just jazz expressions.
True.
So
Yeah.
that's what jazz is to me. It's just like a free flow that I learned from gospel, and then the structure of actual music terminology that I learned from band and orchestra, and put it all together. That was my jazz.
Right. So having the best of both
Yeah,
worlds.
where I can
You took
improvise.
advantage of that.
Yeah,
Some
I can.
people will be like, you know, I didn't grow up in the band, so they kind of see that as a disadvantage or advantage, you know.
That's the most advantage. If you are a young musician and you playing by ear, or you playing in church, or you know, just trying to wing your way through it, man, learning the terminology from real educated students is a plus.
Yeah. Once you
It's a
finally
plus.
do understand the
Yeah.
techniques and how to read that sheet music, or you know, if you
Yeah.
already have that feel, you're gonna
Yeah, because
skyrocket.
think about it. By the time I graduated high school at 18, 19, and 20, I could already just read charts really fast.
Right.
I could read a chart, you
Sure.
know, and being I guess, still a novice keyboard player at that moment, it was pretty cool that I could read the chart and
Yeah.
keep up, because I could go through the song as a keyboard player as if I already knew it.
Right. So at this time, were you already doing any gigs, or were you just playing at church, or just
had
around
no
town,
gigs.
or?
I had no gigs.
So when did it start for you to be like, you know what? When did your first gig? Do you remember your first gig?
Yeah, a partner of mine, Andre Darby, who is the brother of Terrence Trent Darby.
Okay.
So I grew up in the church that they're from, and he gave me my first chance as a producer and as a music director. Like, you know, gave me my first chance. Just like
How
I'm
old
doing
were
my
you around this time?
19 years old,
Okay.
and I'm in charge of producing the album and doing the live recording.
Well, so this was your first
This is my first
project.
I
pretty much
ever
executive
did.
already.
Yeah, this is my
producing.
first chance of learning how to record, learning how to get in the studio, how to write songs, how to.
You're still in Florida at this time?
Yeah, I'm still in Florida.
How did you approach it? Were you confident, nervous, or what? I mean, because obviously you didn't have much experience. You might have been talented, but this is your first one.
Luckily, where I'm from, we had homies like, you know, Troy Sneed. He's from Florida.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We got Dario Edgecombe. He's from Florida. And at this time, they're already on Billboard. They already on winning Stellas. They already doing it. So all you had to do is just mimic them and listen to everything they've been telling us while you were young. Like, it can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. And it never went wrong. Yeah, just follow the blueprint. Like, you know. So.
Okay, so your first gig, your homie
Andre Darby.
Okay, so who was your first gig with? Was it somebody around town, a local guy, or where you did the whole album?
Yeah, that was pretty much my first time being a gigging musician, being a paid gigging musician.
So where did it go from there? What's your next transition?
The next transition was I met my partner, and we still partners to this day, man. My homie Trey Pierce. Okay. He's a bass player. He was a bass player for the Blind Boys of Alabama.
Nice.
James Brown, tons of people. Phil Collins. He played with tons and tons of people. He came to a studio, and I was, at that time I had graduated high school, and I'm attending Full Sail to learn how to engineer. So I'm like, all right, I had a Division II scholarship to play football. So, but that wasn't,
Full Sail
that
the football.
Football wasn't my love. I just, you know, I just could play ball, but music was what I wanted to do. Okay. Yeah, music was one of it. So I dove in and went to college. You know what I'm saying? So when I met him while in college, I'm interning at a studio. He come in, man, and he's working on stuff with Jodeci. He's working on American Idol stuff at the time, season 1. So
yeah, because
he came in, and I was just like the intern, so I was just like fly on the wall, looking over his shoulder. So one day he got some keyboard files back from somebody, and he was soloing it. He was like, "Oh no, that's not right. So they're arguing on the phone like, "No, that's not the chord. Yeah, it is the chord." So I'm like, "Hey, you want me to replay it?" Yeah. So he gave me an opportunity to replay it. And I replayed it. I made the Corey Clark, American Idol, season 1, man. I'm on that album.
Wow. The opportunity fell in.
Yeah,
so do you feel like the opportunity just came from just being around or
being
from other
around and shutting up.
There you
Speaking
go,
at the right time.
Yeah.
Always knowing that opportunities come from those who learn really, really fast. You know,
Right.
like when an opportunity is there, it might be that was maybe a 5-minute window.
Sure.
Speak up with confidence right now, or wait till next time and say, you know, because if you're a good person, God gonna always send you opportunities. You don't gotta worry.
Absolutely.
Opportunities gonna happen. You don't know when, but
Right.
they're gonna happen if
Be
you
ready.
know. But that was my moment. I felt like, yeah, I can do this. I heard what was being played. I feel
Yeah.
confident. If I would have failed, then you know it's cool.
Right.
But I didn't.
Right.
And then after that, that led to Trey Pierce. He was actually music director for the Ohio Players. So that led me. Now I'm his boy, right hand man. I'm playing keyboards. So next thing you know, I get a chance to meet the Blind Boys of Alabama, just hanging around with him, and then the music director Joey Williams for the Blind Boys ended up giving me a call to come start doing dates.
Wow.
Man,
So hold on.
it's
You're
just,
taking
you
me
know,
too fast. You
that's
taking
how
me,
it
we
go,
gotta
man.
break this down a little bit because these guys want to know the insights of this. So you were still how old at this time when you got to the
Ohio Players,
yeah.
23.
Okay, 23. So
I'm
we went from
23.
19 to
Yeah.
producing your first project, your
Yeah.
first kind of music opportunity as a professional,
yeah.
getting paid. You knocked it out the park.
Yeah.
A few
Well,
years-
I ain't gonna say that. I don't want nobody to go Google that and be
Don't
like,
Google.
yeah, you knocked it out the park, all right. That wasn't a big part.
You-
But at that time, you know,
Who really knocks their first project like that out the
that's
park?
what I'm saying.
You know?
But you got to think, man. I'm from, you know, I'm from the projects, man. I'm from the bottom. We at that time, at 19 years old, I could probably tell you nobody in the entire projects knew someone tangible that they can touch that had done an entire CD.
Yeah.
So the world may look at it and say, I didn't do like
Yeah.
Jermaine
Sonically,
Dupri.
yeah.
I didn't, you know, find Chris Cross or nothing. But to my project, I was a hero. So, you know, and I
that's a
accepted
key-
that.
I think that's a key, just a key point, just even you saying that right
Yeah.
now. Even at a young age, and I don't know if you knew that at the time.
I did,
But I feel
yeah.
like even without the money or even the fame or whatever attention that you might seek later on, you found a way to find success
That was never
at
what it was
your
about. It was
moment at that time.
even I can promise you can ask my sister, if she was here, she'll tell you I always had this mindset to where, man, you don't have to have $1 million to feel rich.
That's right. Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
It's like you don't. And it's like at a young age, once I did a project, I knew that I had what it takes for people to listen. All I got to do is keep doing it. More listeners, more listeners, more listeners. It was never rocket science to me, and it was never about the money.
Sure.
It's just I got something to offer. I got something to leave on earth, and I knew that at a young age.
And you put your best foot
Yeah, that's
forward
all it
at
was.
that.
Yeah, that's simple.
So you're 23. Are you touring at this time? When you're 23, have you hit your first tour by this time?
Now Trey has taken me out. We doing the Ohio Players, man.
Okay. And how was that? Your first tour on the road, away from home,
Man,
out the hood, seeing just the world for the first. Oh, I don't know if this is your first time. But
You have no idea what it feels like to be around legends,
yeah.
people that shaped modern history.
Were you? Did you see them as legends at the time, or was it like,
Oh yes, this was big. I
Yeah.
mean, man, my grandfather, you know, and his homies sit up under the tree
Yeah.
and drank a full case to the Ohio Players record.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
I've been knew Sweet
Yeah.
Sticky Thing. I've been knew Fire.
That's
I've
right,
been
yeah.
knew those records. My godbrother had me playing all of those records
I sold plenty.
long
Shout out
time
to
ago,
Ohio
man.
Players,
Yeah,
I sold
man.
plenty of them records.
Yeah,
I
man.
was a
So
little
this
kid,
is
thought I was getting in trouble.
this is a huge opportunity. I mean, nothing I took for granted, but it was something I know that being around those legendary beings was way bigger than what I even thought it was.
What do you think the best lesson that you learned being around them? Because you was with them, or we're talking about
Yeah.
the Ohio Players?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you was
Yeah.
with them, what?
Like 4 years.
4 years.
4 years that tour
So that
lasted.
4
Yeah.
years, what would you say, good or bad? What was the best thing
It's
you got from
actually advice I got from Sugarfoot. and it was actually both of those. It's like he said, you have to learn and you have to know what you don't know. And that advice, what he meant was you have to learn how to, be in the situation where you're with the Ohio players now. You young, you around legends, yeah, but you don't know how to be around legends just because you with legends.
Right.
You don't know.
There's levels to this.
What you got to know is, now that I'm at this level, now let me tune into everything that I don't know and make sure I'm constantly asking questions to gain that knowledge.
So you was applying, so you understood your role at a very young age.
Yeah.
Where your place.
Small things, man.
Yeah.
You're not the star. You have no business sitting at the merch table signing autographs.
Right. Was that a humbling experience for you? I mean, because
not really. It's like
you want to be at the merch table.
Man, I really didn't. At that moment, I really didn't care if they told me to sit in the trailer with the speakers.
Right.
As long as when the lights came on, I'm up there. I was good.
Man,
so. You take it how you get it. Like it was no. Well, things are different now. Nowadays, the younger generation, they can look on a tangible YouTube source and a video source to understand what it's like to be on tour, understand the rules that go down on tour, understand the rules that come along with another level of music and business, how to carry themselves, They can learn a lot of that, but
still just that hands-on experience. I mean, I don't know if you can.
I learned a lot of it from Shut Up.
Yeah.
Don't say nothing else. You know what I'm saying? I learned it from, boy, we'll send you back home on a bus tonight.
Right.
From California.
Right.
That's a long one, boy.
I've heard some stories about that one for
That's a long one, man. I've been around. I've seen a couple homies get on buses,
Get your one way back home.
Man, it's that deep.
So is it a lot of work or what was the pre-preparation before? Because, I mean, legends, they're not going to step out there unless it's right. And, you got to be ready. So what was your preparation getting ready for your first
there's actual pictures my mom got of me at 18, 19, playing, church conventions or whatever. I already was playing 4 keyboards. Did
you know what you was doing?
No, I was modeling after the OGs that I'd seen. You know what I'm saying? Jesse Stevens,
incredible.
Dario Edgecombe, Tony Hemmings. Man, we got, Central Florida had we had bros, man, that understand. And not to mention my bro Byron Chambers, Mr. Talkbox. That's my bro. That's my bro. I played with his family group.
Oh, okay.
So that's my bro, So at that time when I was 19 and 20, he had just landed the NSYNC gig.
Oh, wow.
So that's all in Orlando. That's all Central Florida, man. So you
had good wings.
You got good wings to look at and modern after, and being able to go to rehearsals and being able to be around Transcon during that time put things on a different perspective. Now, when I go back to my church, I don't got no rules.
Right.
If I want to bring 8 keyboards in here, my dad ain't gonna say nothing. Have a good time. I don't care as long as y'all playing the music.
Right.
So I'm testing out tour rigs and learning about MIDI, learning about how to sync things up. I actually used to run tracks with a mini disc, using the mini disc.
On the MPC or
the mini disc player. We would record the stems, record the loop, and put it on the mini disc and run that through the system so the drummer can hear it. It wasn't no talk back and all that, but as long as the drummer hear the loop,
that's all you need.
That's all we need. We had horns, we was already programming, so I done learned programming at different stages, you know what I'm saying? But, learning from the trial and error, then educate myself at Full Sail to learn the technology, the real terminal way, and then actually being out there seeing it done.
Yeah,
that's experience.
So I mean, I think it takes a little bit of luck, but I mean, just hearing your story, you also put your best foot forward and put yourself in position, which is key to take advantage of some of these opportunities.
Man, I say to any young person, man, use luck to find love. Use luck to find the woman of your dreams.
Yeah.
Don't use luck for financial security.
Right.
use tact, smart, intelligence. Those things work better with financial security in the long run than luck.
Sure.
Luck works with love.
Right.
Luck works with picking out the right covers for your new room.
Yeah,
Luck
the right
works
paint
for going to
colors.
Ross at the right time. You done found your favorite shirt on sale for $2.99.
Come on,
That's
man.
luck.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I go to Ross all the time. Like,
Now that's
trying to
luck.
find that shirt, trying to find that
Yeah,
right
boy.
shirt, right?
You feel me? So I kind of always lived on that. I kind of there, you know what I'm saying? I never really had much value in trust and luck. Those weren't two words that I use intelligence and, you know, good character.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
that'll if you know what you talk about and you're a good person, people will give you a chance. It's not
Right.
it's not
Yeah,
hard.
It's not as serious as people always try to make it out to be. So let's move forward a little bit. Okay, so you was on that for 4 years, and then did you go to the Blind Boys after that?
Yeah, I basically was doing spot days with the Blind Boys for like a span of, you know, off and on 7 or 8 years after that. And me and my partner.
Good 10 years was
Yeah.
those two bands.
That was
mainly.
big. Yeah, and in the midst of that, at the end of the Ohio Players, me and my partner Trey decided to start our own band.
Okay.
So,
What's the name of that band?
Trey Pierce and the T-Stones.
All right.
So we was able to move that from an idea in our head to headlining a show at the Georgia Theater.
Nice. So tell how did that happen? I mean,
That's two brothers joining together with the idea and being committed to an idea, and then having other brothers join in and take it to another level. As a leader, it's nothing like having brothers. Like, nothing we did to move that situation would have went anywhere without the brothers that was there to help it build from the ground.
They bought into you.
They
guys'
bought into
idea.
it. They bought into it. If I said, "Hey man, we got these new hats that say TPTS, man, y'all gonna wear them?" They wore them. They post. We at this gig. We at that gig. You know, hey, we need to not wear the tennis shoes today. We need to put on the tuxedos today because this is a next level gig. I had no, hey man, I want to wear my jeans. Nah, it wasn't that. Everybody was bought into it. Okay, we getting somewhere, and they saw the formula move us from an idea to the Georgia Theater in a matter of 3 years.
Yeah, that's huge.
3 years, man.
That's work. That's work.
And
right there.
that's nothing but treating people right, getting on stage, and doing it. You know, doing it the way we've been doing it with other big gigs. So that's all it was.
Okay.
Taking that knowledge from.
Now, what year was this? Was this this was after your? Okay,
This might have been like
you was probably around 28.
28, 30,
30,
30,
okay.
31, somewhere around there.
Now, were you still in Florida at this time? Living in Florida?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still
So
living in
how did
Florida.
you transition to Texas? What was that around the same time period, or was this much later?
Man, no, this was later. Right after, so with T-Stone, we might have let it run for about 3 or 4 years, and then, at that point, man, I was at a huge life transition, man. Huge life transition, divorce. I need to go a different direction, and mentally, I had thought a whole new game plan in my head. Like, and I had faith in myself and what I believe because I've seen it work.
Sure.
I'm the kid that grew up in the projects.
Right.
To be standing in front of 50,000 people playing my instrument and making money.
Right.
Oh yeah, I made a dream come true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I know inside myself, I knew I could do it again. So it's not a problem. I know the engineering and the science of.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know.
that's what I always say, and that's why I always encourage people, especially, you know, the ones that are listening that's just getting started.
Yeah.
You know, learn your craft.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in, oh, I don't listen to country, I don't listen to hip hop. Like, just learn your craft, learn music, and learn your craft, because like we're saying here now, you never know. Like, somebody can take all of our keyboards, all of our laptops and software and sounds, and you know it'll hurt us financially, but in our spirit, inside our head, we bounce back because we know it's gonna be all right.
Come on, man.
Because we know our craft. We still know how to play those same chords, those same songs. We still know how to go in the studio and cook up and make beats, because we've been doing it for years and years and years, and developed the skill that it takes to learn the frequencies, the science of our craft. So just a quick note that I think that's important to shout out.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, you know, as a young person, once you make it to, you know, 30, 31, 32, it's really time to start honing in on, okay, how many more chances do I have to reinvent myself?
Right.
You know, when you're young, you got a cup, man. You got some chance. You can reinvent yourself. You can be, you know, I could be D1 the fitness trainer for 2 years. Right. I could be D1 the graphic artist for 2 years. Exactly. D1 the video producer. You know, I could do a bunch of different things. But the older you get, you know, you have to start honing in. Okay, even though I may possess a bunch of different knowledge, you know, and can do a bunch of different things, but which one is going to set me up to have that real financial security and that real peace inside internally?
Sure.
With peace being number one.
Right. Yeah, definitely peace. And the music industry, it challenges that peace. So you definitely have to find your own self-peace at some point in time to have. And this is what this is all about, having a long 25, 30-year career in this game.
That's what it's about, bro. That's what it's about.
We don't want you guys just to be hot for a year, have a good season, a good year, you know, be on everybody's Instagram and post and YouTube or whatever out there on social media, and then the next year we can't find you. That's not success to us. We don't care how much money or how many plaques or billboards you get in a year. I mean, hats off to you, congratulations. But you know, this podcast right here is specifically catering to people that want a long, sustainable career in the music industry for decades to come. And you're seeing now that it doesn't always start with, okay, now I finished college, now I'm gonna attack it. It starts with being a kid in your community, taking advantage of the opportunities that you have lying right in front of your face. We're not even into the good stuff yet of this podcast, but we can see that D1 started as a kid in Florida. He started at his community, going to a church. I'm pretty sure as a kid, even though you're surrounded with legends, he's not waking up at 9, 10, 11 years old thinking, I'm around legend. He's just like a kid going outside riding a bike. I just want to play and do music. And he took advantage of those opportunities, not knowing he was surrounded by some cats that could really put him in a position later. Then here we are now 10, 15 years later, and he's already thousands of steps ahead of a lot of guys just because mentally he already took, you know, those steps at a young age and took advantage. That's huge. That's so huge, man. Yeah. That's so huge. And
it's all in the mindset, man.
Mindset.
It's all in the mindset. It's like, man, it's like you really have to recondition your mind. Right. Recondition your mind regardless of the things that you've been through in life. Now, although we talk about a musical journey, you know, man, we're not talking about the baby mamas. We're not talking about the drugs. We're not talking about the detours. We're not talking about the things that really hurt me to knock me down. We're not talking about the people I hurt to knock them down.
Wow.
Where I had to rebuild my karma.
Wow.
We're not talking about that.
Wow.
Where I had to apologize, get myself back in line because we are human. Wow. We're not perfect, but we're trying to do this perfect thing that's called success.
Yeah. Come on. Wow. So all right. So let's go through this phase here. So okay, you're around 30 years old. I'm assuming 30 is you're transitioning from Florida. You say you went through a divorce. So did you just round I'm gonna go to the biggest state I can find, Texas? So what made you come to Texas, and how did you land and get on the solid ground here and get back on your feet?
Well, I didn't come to Texas till I was 34, but those years before that, I was kind of like from back and forth from Orlando, sometimes in Atlanta, sometimes in North Carolina, you know, just kind of moving a couple different places, as well as Philly, where my sister is. Just moving, man, making things work how they work. Then it was like, okay, all right, I got this new plan in my head. And this plan says, if you plan to turn 50, wise up.
If you plan to turn 50, wise up. That's what you were telling yourself?
That's what I was telling myself around 34.
Why's that?
Because at 50, you're expected to be wise. At 5 years old, you're expected to have knowledge of words.
Right. True.
At 15, you expect to have knowledge of conscience, how to say I'm sorry, how to offend somebody, how to recover, how to get hit and come back up. At 30, you're expected to have some knowledge of what does it take to have good credit? What does it take to buy a house? At 34, you're expected to have a certain knowledge, but at 50, you're expected to be wise.
This plan needs to be starting.
You don't want to meet a 50-year-old man and seek knowledge from him, and he have nothing wise to tell you.
Right.
Because at 50, you can actually respect somebody for not having money. You can respect them for not having a mansion, but when you talk to them, you want them to give you what? Wisdom, number one. Number one. Yeah. So that's the life plan I said I wanted to go to. I wanted to. Let me switch my life plan
brother,
real quick.
You must have been reading Proverbs around that time, boy, that wisdom.
Yeah, I was like, let me switch my life. Like, let me have some wisdom now.
Do you think that came from being on the road at such a young age and being exposed to all of this, all of what the music industry can throw on you? Or?
Yeah, that came from me understanding that as a musician, just a musician, like you just the one that played the instrument.
Right.
You at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to financial security in the music business.
Okay. So you started getting more business oriented as well.
Yeah. I wanted to get, if it's not selling records on a major platform, how can I get more business and more financial secure doing what I love to do, which led me to, I did go to college. I do have a degree. So, I guess I can go get a teaching job. But what kind of teaching job will allow me to do what I love to do as far as music and do what I'm destined to do as far as share knowledge and share wisdom?
Sure.
Happy medium I found.
Right. Once again, we're talking 15 years later. You found your own success. Yeah. And there's waves. There's waves,
man. It's waves. But now the journey that I'm on, at least with what we seen with this coronavirus season, it's like, okay, the people around you that are just talking music, understand that they're talking just music. You don't have to take what they're saying about music, about being a producer, about being this, about being on that tour, and make it your whole life.
Right.
Well, won't you take a little bit of that, and then won't you take a little bit of this financial knowledge from this person, take a little bit of this lifestyle from this person, and apply it to your life. Like, you can't do that because if you put all of your eggs in one crate and they come take it again, are you willing to be, on that kind of shaky ground that it was? Or do you want to be one of the men in America right now who, Corona happened, it's all good, but financially they ain't, they ain't feel no rock. Like it didn't kill what they had going on, because they're a creator. Even if you're a producer, they're creators. They're, they got publishing. They move beyond just getting on stage playing their instrument.
Sure. So let's talk about those are all very good points, and I think we might have some more good points, because let's talk about just a little bit on the personal things. Now, I know you're a married man, and I'm a married man as well.
Not married at the moment, dating.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. Well, beautiful woman. I know she would probably I won't speak anything, but I know she's beautiful, and I'll speak it, brother.
Speak it, brother.
I want to see y'all together. And
you gonna see us?
Hopefully, I see y'all together, and just like me and my wife when we got married, we played Molly's music at our wedding, man. So just a little side note, and this was 6 years ago. Yeah. But here it is today. I'm talking to you, and you currently produce Molly's music. If you guys don't know, a 3-time Grammy nominated singer. Yeah. You produced his latest single, hit single, which I think was number 6 on the Billboard. Or did it hit number 1? I know it
debuted at number
5.
6 on Billboard.
Yeah, debuted at number 6. I mean, you're peaking on the top 10 on the Billboards. I mean, let's go down that story real quick. How did you wind up producing, first of all, getting in contact with 3-time Grammy award-winning producer, songwriter, to you guys are like, man, I'm talking to you early before the podcast, and you guys are like bros. Like, how does that happen?
Man, how it happened?
Well, I know how it happened.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, man. My bro Devon Odom's one of the youth pastors at St. James Baptist Church. He had
in Austin.
In Austin,
okay.
He had a big task upon him. The National Baptist Convention is coming to Austin. Book Molly music for the concert. He comes to me and says, D1, this is a big task for me, as hosting, the convention, the youth national convention. He had a level to keep up with, so he asked me to be the music director for the concert that Molly was gonna do. And I was like, of course, man, I rock with Molly. You know what I'm saying? I've been Yahweh since day one. Like, I rock with Molly, you know what I'm saying? And a partner of mine, Jamel Hopkins, is a drummer for Jerry Wonder in New York. Jamel is my good homie. They actually worked on the Molly Is album.
Okay.
So, nice. I had already knew of Molly and, a couple mutual friends, but that's how we end up getting in contact. He came down to do the show, and before I accepted it, I prayed and asked, God, what is the purpose of this? Because before you do anything, you should always see if this is just, this is just a gig that I'm supposed to have, or do you need me to, move a certain way or whatever. Yeah. So after me and Molly talked, it became clear that he was ready to make his move back into another album, but with a different sound, with some different tones, with a different message.
It is totally different.
Yeah, and man, me and him sat and talked till like 5 a.m. one night after he came down to rehearse. And after rehearsal, me and him, we was just like, man, let's just get in the studio right now. Okay. So we went in that night, the first night we met, and made some music, man, and start creating right there. And then that just led to us talking about the flow of the album and just being in tune with, the direction that he was going in. It definitely was the direction I was going in. It's like, me creating music that meshes well with an artist is what it's all about.
Sure. I like it too, and I love creating music that has a positive message.
Yeah.
Sometimes as a producer or, a guy playing, we don't always have creative control. And, that as a producer in my career now, that's one of the things that I'm constantly striving to get more control over. Not saying I have to control the album, but just have a more insight of, what's the direction of the album. And for you guys that don't know, we would consider working with major artists, that's considered kind of like a placement, meaning that when you're getting in contact with, you can maybe chime in on this, but maybe when you're getting involved in trying to get your music or your beats, songs to artist that's high class or that has a major label behind them, it's called a placement, and they get hundreds, if not thousands, of tracks every day, every month, and their email is just full of music. So that's why they call it the placement. People get really excited. Oh my God, like I made the album placement. And from my personal experience, I've had those placements, and I'll be literally people be texting me, the album came out, or I know the album's coming out, and I'll literally be online checking the credits. Am I on it? Am I on it? And sometimes, or most of the times, I'm not on it. That's just the reality. And sometimes you look up, but it seemed like you found a way, which I want to talk to. You figured out a way, or not figured out a way. It's just this project, and it seemed other projects to where you've come in more as, I'm not just producing, not just gonna email back and forth. I'm gonna actually put my soul in creative and have a little bit more creative control and work with the artist.
Right. Well, that came to be more so than the music. Is to get that level of access with the artist, you need to be a person that can answer emails. You need to be a person that, I'm gonna send you some tracks, but that email following that up need to be within 24 hours, or
Right.
you
Can't
need
sit
to,
there for 2
yeah,
weeks
and
or a
or
week.
when they give you some tasks, yo, can you edit this? Can you do this? Boom, boom, boom. You need to have a system and a flow in order to take on that level, you know. And some people have it, some people don't. Some people are great at creating, you know,
That's just what they
50
need to
tracks
do.
in a week.
Yeah.
I just
That's
made
not
50
your style,
tracks.
huh?
You know, that's not my style. I'm more, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying now to be. I'm trying now to not have to make as many cars. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ones I make,
Right.
you going to notice them when they drive by.
Right. I seen that. I was watching an interview. I think it was the Honorable C Note, another
Yeah.
producer, and he was talking about that on the podcast. And he said, uh, I used to just take like 5 tracks or like, and I think every young producer do is it's about volume at the
Yeah,
time. It's not about
yeah.
quality. It's
Yeah,
about
quantity.
volume.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
I made 5 tracks. You don't like them? Forget it. I'll do 5 more. And I
Right.
think as you get older and more mature, you just want to take, okay, what are we trying to do? What's the end goal? So when I make these 5 tracks, I know they're gonna be fire.
Right.
Let's just focus on this instead of trying to make a whole bunch
Well,
that doesn't make sense.
when it comes to that, man, it's like, okay, you take um you take Maserati, bro. There's a lifestyle of food. There's a lifestyle of clothing. There's a lifestyle of shades. There's a lifestyle of cigars. There's a lifestyle of drink. There's a lifestyle of everything that those engineers pay attention to create Maserati.
Right.
It doesn't go with every lifestyle. So when you talk about, you know, producers that just make tracks in quantity, every track ain't gonna go with every artist, and you just, you know, you buckshotting because, you know, if an artist, you know, you happen to create a track that goes with it, that's what you talking about, the placement, then okay, boom, boom, boom. But when you talk about trying to be a producer that creates a sound and a tone, you got to get with an artist. You got to hang out. You got to ask them how they feeling at 9 in the morning. You got to ask them what they listening to at 11 at night. You got to, you know,
kind of get in there.
You got to get in their head. Like, you got to learn how they move and how they, you know what I'm saying? And then you can create from that perspective, you know, and that's what I'm trying to get better at right now. I want to be able to talk with an artist and be able to create the essence of their vibe, just from what I gathered.
Right.
You can't do that with just emails.
You said trying, man. Well, fabulous job to, you know, the record that you produced for Molly. I mean, you did it. I don't know if you tried. I mean, obviously the people and the awards are speaking for themselves. I mean, the song is still being played. I've heard it on XM radio, all of regular radio, and yeah, Let Go, guys. If you haven't heard that song, be
Molly
sure.
Music, Let Go. Please go listen.
Yeah, definitely Let Go. Go buy that like a couple times today for sure. So let's transition to, all right, so you're now in Austin, and so you go from, I don't know which one came first, but you did 3-time Grammy nominated to, I look up on stage one day at ACL, which is the biggest music festival that probably one of the, I don't know if it's one of the biggest in the world, but Austin, Texas is definitely one of the biggest.
Top three in the country.
Top three music festivals in the country. And I look up one day and I see you on stage with 4-time Grammy Award winner Gary Clark Jr. Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't stop. So, are you just like a magnet towards?
Nah, man.
Grammy,
man. My good friend John Dees, who's an Austinite. When I moved to Austin,
shout out to John Dees.
Shout out, man, because when I moved to Austin, bro, this bro was the first bro that put money in my pocket on a gig.
Nice.
That's big when you move to a new city.
Yeah, for sure.
That is huge.
That's the first step right there.
I told bro from that moment, I got you, bro. And it's no need to talk accolades. It's no need to talk that, you know, bro can easily go to Google and see what I did. But when you go to a city and become a friend of somebody, it's just a different, you know, when I became his friend, he was not with Gary Clark Jr.
Right.
So he wasn't my bro because he was
Right.
Gary Clark Jr. He's my bro because this is the
genuine
best in the
connection.
city. This is the general of Austin, Texas. And when you come to a city, for those that understand loyalty and understand the way things should be and the way order works in divine order,
Right.
you have to honor that, those unspoken.
Yeah.
You honor them, and when you honor those things, you rise.
Yeah.
It's too many people.
unwritten
So many
rules.
musicians go to a new city and they try to go against the groove. Well, it's an order.
It's already.
It's an order that's already been established. You got to get in order, and that don't mean you bowing down to nobody. It don't mean nothing like that. It's nothing street or anything related to that. It's nothing like that. But it's a unwritten truth that I think God honors. It's like when you can go to a new city, humble yourself to know that, musicianship wise, I might be better than that guy or better than that guy or better than that guy, but that's not what it's about.
No.
Because at this moment, you can't walk around this city and shake 10 hands. At this moment, 10 hands around this city have not put money in your hand.
Right.
You got to get that first.
Wow.
You got to shake some hands and get some hands that'll put money in your pocket willingly. And that's all to do with your character and who you are.
Right.
Nothing to
y'all
do with
listening to
skill.
these gems, right?
Nothing to do with skill,
We
man.
can wrap it up right there. I mean,
Nothing to do with skill, man.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with skill. All to do with good people. And then, so
character, man.
fast forward, John Dees gets the MZ job for Gary Clark Jr. and he's like, yo, I'm finna do ACL. I'm trying to do it bigger, bro. Come sit in the capsule with your boy.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta say, yeah, man. Come on, man.
And it seemed like y'all are just having so much fun
Oh,
up
yeah,
there.
man.
Just every time I
Oh,
see you
yeah.
guys hanging out, and
Oh, yeah.
you know, I know we've done some events together, and I think that's just the, you know, everybody. I want this podcast to just break a lot of perceptions out there for the whole music thing, and you know, I hope I can get John Dees on this podcast as well. But I know both of you guys really well, and it's just what you said. You guys just have phenomenal character.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking music, but the character within itself has elevated you guys to, which gave you the opportunity for people to even say, okay, let me now hear your music. And once they hear your music, oh, the game is over. So a big key to even getting your music heard is having a good character.
key.
So maybe I need to stop practicing making beats and practicing piano or these instruments and practice on your character.
I know, man, because aside from that, the backstory to that, and we didn't get into it, but the backstory to me ending up in Austin was my partner, who I've been knowing for a long time, Kris Spivey, drummer. Been knowing him for
Another Austin. Shout out to Kris Spivey.
Over 20 years, man.
I didn't know you know Kris for that long.
when I got here and I needed a job to play at a church, Kris, as soon as I got here, I already had a job. Yeah. And that's from knowing a homie 20 years.
Yeah.
I got you, bro.
Yeah. And
it was nothing. I got you, bro. So you know what I'm saying?
Guys.
Yeah, it'll take you forever, man.
Kris has been, man, I feel like Kris is more passionate about helping other people than he is helping himself sometimes. Every time I see Kris, is always, hey, who does this? I want to give you a job. I'm looking for this. So, yeah, shout out to Kris, and shout out to John Dees, and shout out to Gary Clark. These are all Austinites.
And
yeah, I mean, Austin, we got it going on.
Austin. And I will say this, man, there is a light that is shining our way here in Austin. You don't have to be from somewhere else to be big. You don't have to do that. Only thing you have to do is be proud of who you are.
Right.
And continue to create and join in with other brothers that are like-minded individuals.
Sure.
Boom, there it is. Everybody want to see, because the cameras have to turn when a group of men and women do that. When a group of people, regardless of anything, join hands and together, everybody want to see. The world want to see that, man. Right. Everybody have to look. You have to look. Hey, man, that person is from there. And oh my goodness, this is great. Yeah, they have to look.
just to throw back, just to attach everything together. You was on stage joined by a special person as well, right?
Say that again.
You was on stage with Gary Clark Jr. at ACL too. When your
Yes, my
your future wife on stage.
My girlfriend Lori, she sang background. She actually, when I first moved here, she was singing on tour with LaToya Luckett.
Okay.
So she was doing that to her when we actually met. So it was actually great to start dating somebody who was actually in the industry as well.
So let's talk just very quickly about that. We don't have to get too deep in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you manage balancing all of this music opportunities, being on stage? Because I know it takes a lot of pre-preparation to do all of these type of things. How do you balance that, and then just being normal, having a family, or having, just a normal Friday night or date night? How do you balance those two things?
Well, I include my girlfriend. I do music with her.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I need time to myself in my man cave I'm listening. If I'm crating and I'm listening to records, if I'm crating, she probably gonna pull up, chill on the couch because she want to crate too. Yeah. And then she know how to crate too. She she got a little iPod up there too. She knows some records, from being
she be in the studio.
Yeah, I mean
man.
her grandfather, the great Bill, the mailman, you know what I'm saying, Martin, he was, a radio host and DJ responsible for a lot of great acts. Nice. A lot of great acts. So she come from a real, musical background. She be put me on record sometimes. So it's like that is our norm, doing music or doing things. Now there do come a time where let's turn off the music, but that's easy to do because
y'all are both.
I I can have so much free time. I'm good.
Right.
It ain't like my music life is separate from my relationship is not separate. I'm actually dating somebody who actually goes to concerts. Yeah. So
I didn't know she. I know she. I've heard her sing a couple times. I think I saw her on some concerts she did here. I saw on Gary Clark, and I might have saw her with Ray J too. I think y'all did something.
Yeah, she did backgrounds for Ray J New York series satellite show.
And then you did a gospel song or
she released a solo project with her praise team at a church that I produced, Jesus the Anthem. It's available. Huge record. It actually was one of the theme songs for big church in Chicago, where they used it. Pastor John Hanna used it for one of his services.
Wow.
And it was like so captivating to get on YouTube and see Pastor John Hanna singing our record to thousands of people on the beach.
It touched a lot.
Oh yeah, on a sunrise service, man. It was crazy. So it's like,
y'all wrote that record.
Yeah, we wrote that record, wrote and produced it. Yeah. So man,
wow,
that was crazy. And actual awesome. Shout out to Calvin Rogers who played drums on the record.
Calvin played drums.
Yeah, that's Calvin Rogers on drums.
Shout out to Calvin.
Yeah, Calvin,
drums,
and he's actually the music director for Pastor John Hanna that hooked it up and said, "Man, this record needs to be heard." Boom, boom, boom. So shout out to Calvin for that, man, because. Well, that's the kind of guy that's a character. That's what we're talking about the whole time, man. Like, this thing is not rocket science like people be thinking. It's really not. It's not.
Man, just take us out with that because, I mean, we've covered a lot, guys. And if you don't get it by now, you got to go back and listen to this podcast 2 or 3 times because you're not. It's no more secrets. There's nothing else we can tell you. I'm going to give you the mic for just give me your last points that you would have to any music producer, anybody that's listening right now, anybody that wants to start a band, who's in a band that wants to take their band to a bigger stage, anybody who's in their home banging out beats right now that you know what, I want to get on the billboards just like you. Like, just what are some little nuggets that you personally want to share to those guys?
I want to say, and I think when me and my bro was talking the other day, I told him I was going to drop this nugget and I wasn't going to forget. And he made me promise I wasn't going to forget. Life is simple if you simplify it. It's the person you want to go to bed as and the person you want to wake up as. And if both of those are honest, with good character, good things going to happen to you. They are. Stop going to bed with bad karma or bad character on your life. Like, you shouldn't even be able to sleep.
Yeah.
You shouldn't even be able to sleep. And stop waking up feeling like you're not going to do something great that day. You got to wake up feeling you're going to do something great, and you got to go to bed knowing that you are great and you did something great. Just accomplish that every day, small or big.
Yeah, I love when you said that. When you said, say it one more time. Don't go to bed. Wake up.
It's life is simple.
Life is simple.
It's the person you want to go to bed as and the person you want to wake up as.
And we're gonna definitely see what you did the night before, how you wake up.
It'll tell on you. It'll tell on you in some sort of way. Yeah. It'll tell on you.
And you have to live
with
how you made your bed, as they say.
You gotta live it.
If you went out and got messed up the night before and drunk too much, you're gonna live with that hangover that next day. You know, and
it's coming.
And nobody should really feel too sorry for you. It's just something you're gonna have to catch up to us when you're on your own time, which is okay.
Yeah,
I'm glad
you're
here today.
Right.
But at the same time, what for those that do good and make up their bed and put in the work the night before, moved their feet, did the right thing, built their character.
Come on, man.
They should expect, like you said, today.
Yeah.
The next, they should wake up.
It's coming
because
it's gonna come. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
You're a big testimony
and just encouragement to all the producers and writers or creatives or whatever, mothers, fathers, whoever you are that's watching this. Be encouraged, because good character does change it all.
Right.
Changes it all.
It goes along.
Yeah.
So do you feel you could actually be less talented but have a better character than somebody who's more talented and get the gig over them?
98% of the time.
There you go.
And the other 2% is those times where I'm calling a musician at the last second, so I have to call a real professional that can get it done, because the good character guys, I can't give them 30 songs and expect them to show up in 2 days knowing them all. Right. But the bad attitude guy, he will. So I just deal with it for this one. But when it's like
I'm going on tour,
when it's like I'm finna go out on tour, I'm finna be on the same bus with somebody for 4 months at a time or whatever, I'm going character guy.
Yeah.
I'll make character guy rehearse for 8 hours a day for 3 weeks straight, and after that, you can play your parts. And if you don't play your parts, we just turn on Ableton.
Right. Just turn on Ableton.
At least you standing behind a keyboard and it look good, and we can chill with you every night. But if you're gonna start earning on this tour, we need to have a different conversation.
Right. We're gonna talk about this.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Hey man, this has been a lot of fun, man. Once again, this is D1 David Grant Jr. Just a phenomenal story you have. Man, very normal, down to earth guy with all the accomplishments and stuff you've done. Just one more time, just tell everybody where they can find you, any of your music, what you have going on coming up.
Oh, please, everyone, I need everyone to support this new K-approved movement with Molly Music. Album dropping this summer, August or early fall. Make sure you support that. Make sure you go get Molly Music, Let Go. That's the song that's out right now. That's the song we support, and that's where we going. Go listen to the message that's on there. It's real music for real people.
That's what's up, man. And where can they find you at on social media?
You can find me at D1 the Producer everywhere. D1 the Producer.
D1 the Producer, man. So that's it, guys. Well, thank you very much, D1, for taking the time to come to the KeyZ Method.
Yeah.
And thank you all for tuning in and listening to the 14 Keys to Thinking Like a Pro. Y'all be creative. Peace.